The Skybound Seminary short story by JameliaAlicia. High above the mortal world, where clouds harden into marble paths and constellations ring like bells, stands Heaven School, an academy suspended between breath and belief. Its gates do not open to applications. They open to callings, and I mean holy callings. Students are recruited through the heavenly realm at moments when their souls flare brightest. Acts of mercy, defiance against cruelty, truth spoken at great cost. A feather may fall at their feet. A dream may repeat their name. A choir they cannot see may hum them awake. By dawn they are gone from earth, vanished, not dead, lifted into a sky that has always been watching. Inside Heaven School, time bends gently. Lessons are not taught. They are remembered and gifted to those who want to be God's child. Ethics of Eternity asks students to argue with angels and out-reason devils. Weathercraft teaches how storms carry prayers and how silence can end wars. Memory Alchemy trains students to distill grief into light without losing its truth. The choir is both music and mathematics, harmonies that alter reality when sung in alignment. The campus itself is alive. Corridors rearranged to test conviction. Classrooms float away from students who lie. The library of unwritten futures opens only to those willing to read their own failures. Not all students arrived willingly. Some were taken moments before catastrophe. Some were chosen despite darker pasts. Because Heaven School believes redemption is a discipline. Others were recruited by mistake. Names crossed in starlight, now carrying destinies too large to refuse. Above all, the students learn the rule that governs everything. Graduation is not ascension. Graduation is return. When they leave, they are sent back to Earth, to other realms, to wars not yet named, armed with knowledge that can heal or unravel worlds. Their final exam is simple and merciless. What will you change, and what will you refuse to become? The picture was no student wanted to go to the fallen school. This school was not written in the curriculum, and was seen as form of discipline and warning to those who disobey God's calling. The summons never came like thunder. It came like recognition. On the night she was taken, Aurelian did nothing remarkable. She did not save a life or speak a truth that shattered a room. She only stood still on a bridge at dawn, watching the river carry other people's endings, and decided, quietly, not to follow them. That was enough. The sky thinned. Not opened, thinned, as if it had always been a membrane waiting for her weight. The clouds above the bridge folded inward, revealing steps made of pale stone and breath. No one else noticed. Commuters passed through her space, brushing her arm, unaware they were walking through a miracle mid-sentence. Aurelian stepped up. By the time she looked back, Earth had already learned how to forget her. In a world where death caught you by the neck, an escape and way out were through faith. Heaven School did not announce itself. It simply continued. The steps became corridors. The air gained shape. Towers drifted where gravity should have been offended. Students moved in clusters, some glowing faintly, some looking painfully human, some wearing expressions that suggested they were still negotiating whether this was a dream or a punishment. An angel met her at the threshold, not winged, not luminous, just tall, ageless, wearing a uniform that refused to wrinkle. "You are late," the angel said gently. "I didn't know I was invited." "No one does," the angel replied. "That is part of the test." They walked. Classrooms passed them, open to the sky, suspended over cloud wells where storms were being disassembled by students with chalk-stained hands. In one room, a girl cried quietly as a teacher helped her unlearn a memory she had mistaken for truth. In another, a boy argued with a seraph about whether forgiveness required forgetting. "Why am I here?" Aurelian asked. The angel stopped beside a balcony that overlooked everything, earth below, other realms beyond, and something darker, further still, stitched together by light. "You survived yourself," the angel said. "Most do not." Aurelian's first lesson was silence. That was a test already passed at her age, and she did not know what was in store for her. No desks, no books. Only a circle of students seated on air. When the instructor arrived, she did not speak. She waited. Minutes stretched, then hours. Some students fidgeted, some cried. One screamed until his voice cracked. Aurelian sat still, the way she had learned on the bridge, letting thoughts pass without chasing them. When the instructor finally spoke, it was only to her. "You are listening," the woman said. "Good. Most mistake heaven for answers." "It is mostly questions," Aurelian asked. "What happens if we fail?" The instructor smiled, not cruelly, but honestly. "Then we send you back unfinished." Unfinished was definitely not a comical answer. Its intention meant fallen school. At night, if it could be called night, the dormitories drifted closer together like nervous thoughts seeking company. Aurelian shared a room with a girl who had died twice and remembered neither, and a boy who insisted he was here by clerical error and would be returning home by morning. None of them slept. Above their ceiling, constellations rearranged themselves into unfamiliar alphabets. Names written in stars appeared, faded, rewrote themselves. Aurelian searched for her own and did not find it. That frightened her more than anything else. On the 7th day, though time had already begun to lose discipline, the bell rang for recruitment review. All students were gathered in the atrium of returns. At its center hovered a door made of sky, cracked with gold. The headmistress spoke at last. "You believe this school exists to prepare you for heaven," she said. "It does not." A murmur rippled. "This school exists because the worlds below are breaking," she continued, "and heaven is running out of silence. They need students to find a balance between good and evil. As God knows, defeating the devil will come at a lethal price. It means a full battle with God and the devil. God has already won, because there is a school called Heaven School, which fits students to decide their own fate for either heaven or hell." She turned her gaze toward Aurelian, precise as a blade. "Some of you will graduate," the headmistress said. "Some of you will refuse. And some of you, the doorpost, will change what heaven is allowed to be." Aurelian felt it then. Not destiny, not glory, responsibility. And far below, on a bridge that no longer remembered her name, the river shifted as if it had just been warned of unknown presence. The summons never came like thunder. It came like recognition. On the morning Aurelian was taken, she stood on a bridge at dawn, watching the river carry other people's endings downstream. She had come there with a decision folded carefully inside her chest. Not courage, not hope, just the quiet refusal to disappear. That, it turned out, was enough. The sky did not open. It thinned, like breath held too long. Clouds folded inward and revealed steps made of pale stone and air. Commuters passed through her space, unaware they were walking through something holy mid-sentence. No one noticed when she stepped upward. By the time she looked back, Earth had already begun the work of forgetting her, because Earth already had sin written all over it. Earth was here as a test for humans to choose either good or evil. Heaven School did not announce itself. It simply continued. The steps became corridors. Gravity loosened its grip. Towers drifted where they should not have been possible, and bells rang without being struck. Students gathered in uncertain clusters, some glowing faintly, some painfully human, some wearing the look of people still deciding whether this was a gift or a sentence. An angel met her at the threshold. Just ageless, dressed in a uniform that refused to wrinkle. "You are late," the angel said kindly. "I didn't know I was invited." "No one does," the angel replied. "That is part of the test." They walked past open classrooms suspended over cloud wells. In one, students dismantled a storm as though it were a puzzle. In another, a girl wept while a teacher helped her loosen a memory that had been mistaken for truth. Arguments with seraphs drifted through the halls, about mercy, about justice, about whether forgiveness required forgetting. "Why am I here?" Aurelian asked. The angel paused at a balcony overlooking everything. Earth below, other realms beyond, and something darker stitched at the edges. "You survived yourself," the angel said. "Most do not." Her first lesson was silence. There were no desks, no books, only a circle of students seated on air. The instructor arrived and said nothing. Minutes stretched, hours bent. Some students fidgeted, some cried, one screamed until his voice broke. Aurelian stayed still, the way she had learned on the bridge, letting thoughts pass without chasing them. When the instructor finally spoke, it was only to her. "You are listening," the woman said. "Most mistake heaven for answers. It is mostly questions." "What happens if we fail?" Aurelian asked. The instructor smiled, not cruelly, but honestly. "Then we send you back unfinished." Night, if it could be called that, came without darkness. The dormitories drifted closer together like nervous thoughts seeking company. Aurelian shared a room with a girl who had died twice and remembered neither, nor a boy convinced he was here by clerical error. None of them slept. Above the ceiling, constellations rearranged themselves into alphabets Aurelian did not recognize. Names formed, faded, rewrote themselves. She searched for her own and did not find it. That frightened her more than anything else. On the 7th day, though time had already begun to misbehave, the bell rang for recruitment review. All students gathered in the atrium of returns. At its center hovered a door made of sty, cracked with gold. The headmistress finally spoke. "You believe this school exists to prepare you for heaven," she said. "It does not." A murmur rippled through the atrium. "The worlds below are breaking," the headmistress continued, "and heaven is running out of silence." Her gaze settled on Aurelian, precise as a blade. "Some of you will graduate, some will refuse, and some," the door pulsed, "will change what heaven is allowed to be." Aurelian understood then. Not destiny, not glory, responsibility. The door opened. Beyond it lay Earth, unchanged and fragile, the bridge, the river, a life that still did not know her value. She stepped forward. As she crossed the threshold, the constellations above rearranged themselves once more, this time spelling something dangerously close to her name. And far below, the river shifted course as if it had just been warned of a heavenly presence entering the earthly realm. Aurelian did not know, or she thought she knew. She believed she was digging herself a bigger hole, when in reality she was opening portals and heavenly doors to the future.